What up, y'all? This is Patrick Hayes, and in this video, I want to talk about energy awakening versus mind awakening. The difference between the two, so you can figure out where on the spectrum you are, if you have to work more on your energy or if it's better to work more on your mind. And then also it helps for identifying other people so that you can work with them in a more harmonious way. So, energy awakening. Energy awakening is pretty simple. Like, it's when your energy awakens, right? Good way of being able to observe this in other people is like somebody that has an energy awakening, say, and not a mind awakening, is like those people that have really beautiful vibes. Like, they're really positive, optimistic, they're very loving, yet their mind is still, like, say, trapped in the 3D matrix, meaning they still have limited belief systems about themselves or what they're able to do, or maybe they have limited belief systems about how the world can change or how we could be in a better place. Or maybe they're not aware of all the levels of deep corruption that exists within different spectrums of the planet. And so they're very much like mentally not aware of what's going on. They're like mentally sleeping, right? But energetically, they're awakened. And I see this more and more now, where there's people that are like totally like 3D people, you could call it. But energetically, like something is turned on. Their essence is alive, right? They're coming alive on the energetic level. Well, conversely to that, there are a lot of people that are awake mentally. So they're aware of all the corruption in the world. They're aware of all the conspiracies. They know that aliens exist. They know all these like amazing different things, right? But on the energetic level, they're not awakened, meaning they're still shut down in their different energy centers and they're blocked. So it's really interesting because people can have awakenings in both directions. Ideally, you want to bring both these awakenings together, and it gets even more complex because you can also have a body awakening, and I'll get into that in another video. But you have energy awakening, which is like a heart awakening, like a feeling sense awakening, and then you have a mental awakening. And if you don't have both of those awakenings, then whichever one is still closed off is going to be your governor. And it's funny, I'm using this term awakening. What does that even mean, right? So sometimes I hear myself saying it or I hear other people saying it and I'm like, well, what does that even mean? Because it's not like when you wake up like you're just awake. It's like every time you have a major breakthrough, you wake up again, you become more awake. So I'm using the term because it's a term that people resonate with and they understand, but to bring more clarity to it, in a sense, there's no such thing as the awakening, right? There's like successive levels of awakening, and there's not like being awake or being asleep. There's like being maybe more awake or less awake, but there is no like these people are asleep and I'm awake, because you're asleep to somebody else that's more advanced than you. So just keeping that in mind, it's not like once you awaken that you're just like awake from that point on, right? That you've like reached the level. It's like we keep growing and we keep evolving and we keep waking up more and more and more. And what we consider awake now is going to seem like a sleep to us once we've evolved past that. So with that said, whichever part of us is more asleep is going to be the governor for us. So if we feel like we understand a lot of like the infrastructure issues and the systems and know all the details about the intellectual aspects of, all the different things that are going on and the conspiracies, and we see through the mind control and we see through all the manipulation techniques. Like, we may be awake on the mental realm, like we're aware of these different things, but our energetics aren't necessarily tapped on enough for us to be able to vibrationally shift things in the world and shift ourselves and take us to the next level. While conversely, for the people that are energetically awake but they're not mentally awake, for them the issue is that they're energetically there. They can show up like emotionally in a lot of different ways. Their heart's really in the right place. They have many vibrational healing skills. Like a lot of grandmothers I've noticed like are like this. Like they're locked into some sort of mental doctrine that prevents them from seeing like the majesty of what they could truly be. But on a vibrational level, it's like they're super healing. Their heart is there, like they can heal you with touch. Their essence is like a vibration massage. They're just like beautiful people, right? But they're hindered by their mind. Their mind like locks them into certain patterns of thinking that fits them into the matrix as like a cog in the wheel and prevents them from actually like taking that essence and really letting it, you know, ring out and utilize their skills to their fullest extent. Okay, so a good thing to ask yourself, and this is something I do all the time, is how can I be more well-rounded in this particular area, whatever I'm facing, right? So can I become more clear about it intellectually? Can I understand it more deeply on like a framework level? Can I like break it down and like get more clarity in my mind? Is that something that is what the moment is calling for now? Or how can I vibrationally respond to this situation or interact with this situation on an energetic level, on a feeling level, on a sensing level, in a way that is more evolved, right? And usually there's one of two. I mean, obviously it's both, right? But usually there's one of these two is, say, behind the other. And for me, what I've been focusing on a lot recently is really letting like the vibrational essence part come forward. Because I have the tendency to really break things down into frameworks and intellectualize things and become very clear in the mental realm with them. And sometimes that takes away a little bit from my relaxing into the essence and feeling the essence. Now, essence is great for me in the feeling sense is actually really powerful, especially when I'm in like a meditative state, when I'm just, you know, looking at a mountain or I'm in nature or something like that. But I do find that when I start interacting in the world, I have the tendency to become hyper intellectual. And while that's really useful for creating frameworks and understanding things and creating clarity in our mental, spiritual capacities, it sometimes blocks the body awareness, the essence awareness, and the feeling senses from being able to fully flourish. While on the flip side, I'll have these amazing, like, beautiful essence downloads where I get like beautiful energies. And I'll notice this in a lot of young starseeds too, is that they're super like turned on energetically. They feel energies really well, but they don't have the capacity to really integrate it into their understanding to the point where they can express themselves and articulate really what's going on with them. But I then work very hard to take that and articulate that, like turn that into something that I can make sense of within the mind structure so that it can be translated on all different levels as opposed to just an energy transmission. And this is becoming integrated. This is, you know, becoming more grounded. But essentially bringing like a more well-rounded approach to the awakening process and understanding that we awake on different levels. Awakening not only is something that's successive. There is no like awakening, ultimate awakening, but that we continue to successively awake. But also realizing that we awake on different levels and we need to sometimes focus on different levels in order to bring a holistic experience of this forward. So hopefully that gives some new keys for being able to interpret this process of awakening and being able to maybe create some more clarity in different areas regarding this process. So thanks so much for tuning in. This is Patrick Hayes. Like, subscribe, share with your friends. If you're interested in this topic and you have any questions on it, go ahead and ask the questions in the comments and I might go ahead and make another video for you. If you haven't hit the bell button, make sure you hit the bell button and then you'll be notified every time I release videos. And I'm super stoked to continue having this conversation and continuing to share content with you. So one love and I'll talk to you next time.